Twisted Peas with me, Khizra Munir, and today my guest is Sabah Bano Malik. Someone I feel needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce her anyways. Sabah is a former journalist with Arab News. She has been a content creator and content manager for a local fintech. She is a model. She's a content creator. She is a Twitter takedowner. And an Instagram ranter.
Yes.
I am a total fangirl and I'm so excited that she's on my podcast today. Hello!
I'm so excited to be here. Also, you should write my CV because I like Instagram ranter. That one I like. That one I'm going to change in my bio. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm pumped, honestly.
Okay.
I'm so excited about this whole thing and I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you. And I'm very interested in listening to all these conversations. With Minna was a fantastic episode. So yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
I'm going to jump right in. Okay.
All right.
So you've lived most of your life abroad.
Yes.
So you and your sister coming back to Pakistan, is that like a form of reverse brain drain?
So yeah.
Why did you come back?
So I can only say so much that like it was very family related and it's a shared story, so I can't go fully into it, but for family obligations and stuff. So my sister and I, we had like finished our time at university within 6 months of each other. And I gotta give my sister Sarah credit, like hustle, like just working this and that. I started working, in fashion as like a visual merchandiser or whatever, but yeah, I'm a spoiled brat. I'll be upfront about it. Shocking, a burger's a brat. And I just didn't feel prepared to be an adult. And so we were like, let's just give it 6 months. Let's see what Pakistan's like. And American Pakistanis, if you're privileged enough, you would save up for years, and then this would be like the one time you went anywhere, which you'd come to Pakistan. So we had an understanding. I'd lived here a bit as a kid, but landing in 2013, it was like a whole new Pakistan. Nothing like when I was a kid. Nothing like when you spend a week at your nanny's and then leave. So originally, very shocking, and I was like, what? It just felt different. Like I didn't hear music anymore. It wasn't as colorful as I had once experienced and lived. But then 6 months is now over 8 years. So like something.
Okay, I didn't know you'd been here that long.
Yeah, so I got here in 2013, and now here I am. And what is it?
2023?
Oh my god!
Oh
so
my
it's
God,
it's over 9 years. I'm hitting.
I feel
10
like
years
I'm
this
still
year.
stuck in 2020 and I have to remind myself that it's 2023.
October 2013. Yeah. Oh my god! This is gonna be my 10th year.
Wow, you have an anniversary coming up.
Oh my god! What'd you guys say buy me?
Nothing.
Yeah.
We're still poor right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, so you've been doing a lot of modeling and photo shoots, and I feel like you didn't appoint yourself, but you've sort of become one of the faces of the local body positivity movement.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
So I'm meant to keep my answers concise, but like basically what happened was I became a journalist, and I'd actually been a fashion editor with Hello Pakistan for almost 4 years.
Okay.
But I didn't have a public Instagram or Twitter or anything because my family was like, you won't get married, so you can't do it. Big mistake. All the girls did that, happily married, many with children. So me still kicking. So then when I joined news, I was like, well, I'm making these videos and I'm putting out these stories. Like I want people to see them because that's how you grow now, really. So I made it public, and then it was one Eid, I posted a picture of me in a sari. And I guess a fat woman showing this much skin, the internet was like, my God, like, who is she? Not that I'm like knocking it, like it has changed my life in a lot of ways, but like I got my first modeling job from that. Suddenly brands wanted to work with me, and like, so it kind of happened that way. But the thing is, look, I've dealt with a lot of body shaming in my life, but I don't share the same story as a lot of people that guys say, like, it started at home. That's not, there was a bit of it, but it wasn't as intense as I feel a lot of people have experienced in Pakistan, especially from what I've understood over the years of being in this movement. I don't have that origin story. So I was quite like, is this really that big of a deal that like I unabashedly like wore my body outside of the house and on the internet? But I'm actually not 100% about body positivity. That's not, I would say I'm more body neutrality. I think like why can't our body just be a body? You know what I mean? Like, why does it have to be that I love it? Why does it have to be that I hate it? Like some days I look in the mirror and I'm like, girl, you bad bitch. And then some days I look in the mirror and I'm like, you bitch. Like, you know, it's a different feeling about it. And
So
I
that's
think,
why I said you didn't appoint yourself.
no,
It just
but
happened.
I think, you know, because there are so few of us with different body types, right? Like, I won't just say like larger bodies like mine. You have curvier women, or women who work out, or even women who are extremely, you know, thin because they cannot put on weight, right? And like, they're all in different ways part of this movement, but it's just kind of like, I feel like we're forced to be positive, and then if we're not positive, it's almost like they're like, we got you, and like, of course you hate yourself. And I'm like, no, it's just my body. Like, some days it's good, some days it's bad, but for the most part, it's just there. And like, I appreciate it for what it does for me, but let's be beyond that, you know? Like, why does it have to play a role in how I feel about myself?
This is how suddenly in 2022, a lot of people were like, there's this thing called toxic positivity, where you're just expected to constantly make lemonade out of lemons.
Yes.
And it's sort of debilitating, because you're just like, I cannot always look at the glass half full.
Yeah.
Can I have a day
to
have a meltdown?
Literally.
Give me a day.
Literally, I actually, when I first moved to Karachi, I was hanging out with like, you know, a bunch of people, and a lot of them I've known from the internet. So like, it was cool to finally meet. And I was like, all right, well, I want to make friends. Like, let's be vulnerable. We were all talking about our insecurities. And I was like, you know, I'm just hating my body these days. And this girl straight up goes, man, I feel gypped because I thought like you're so confident based on your social media. I don't want to hear this. I was like, I am a person.
Yes.
Before I'm just like confident and it's just, body neutrality is basically this idea that like I said, your body exists with you. And we thank it for the great things it does. I was able to walk up the stairs on the line. I'm able to sit here and talk to you. My body does great things for me. Sometimes my body looks smoking hot, and sometimes it needs to go to bed, and that's okay. And like, so yeah, now whenever I've gotten many opportunities, to jump back, like being put in this movement sort of inadvertently, like I've gone in to talk to so many people. It's grown my platform. People feel comfortable talking to me about their own bodies, or like asking me for advice and help or whatever. But and I appreciate that. Like, I would never take that for granted, and it's something I take very seriously. That like, if a young girl or guy is reaching out to me to talk about their, you know, how they feel about their body, like what can they do? Like, I want to be there for them and stuff. But as of the last, like through pandemic, I was like, guys, don't call me body positive. Like, I'm just a person with body who thinks everyone should have the best relationship they can with their body that doesn't take up their time. Like, it should just be, treat your body with kindness, it treats you with kindness, and Absolutely. Like, that's where it should be.
Okay. So I've been very curious about this. Culturally, we're very private. We're very like, nazar lag jayegi, or what will people say? What will the relatives say if they find out? And through the course of following you on social media, you live a very unfiltered life. I'm not saying you put everything out on social media, but you are not afraid to talk about dating situations, or being on Bumble or Tinder, or dealing with trolls, or taking a troll down in like screenshot after screenshot. And my thing is, you know, with any situation, you're just like, oh my God, are her parents not seeing this? And that's like a reflex. Like, I don't think that's a situation with you, and I don't think it's a situation with a lot of people, but we are conditioned to be like that. Well, like, what if some family member, or like, what if the parents see this? And you have that privilege of your parents seeing everything.
100%, I would say, like, I operate with a lot of privileges. I really, sorry, I'm laughing because I was like literally blushing while you were talking. So you have a crush on yourself, guys. It doesn't have to be body positivity, but you should find yourself the cutest thing alive. But yeah, so my parents are extremely supportive of, like, at first they didn't really get it, I'll be honest. Like, my dad's, people would be like, why are you always on Twitter and stuff? And I'm like, it's my house. But you know, but when I started doing stand-up comedy, my mom, every single show, alhamdulillah, she came to every single show, so supportive. Like, and then one time, because my sister joined the troupe, my dad came, he waited. He was like, until I can see them both in one go, like, I'm not interested in committing to one child. And he came and he saw the show, and I think that kind of made him understand a bit more that, like, oh, this is, like, she's just having a good time up there, and it's like, I do have hard lines I don't cross. Like, you'll never see a picture probably of my family, like at least, you know, until I get married. And then even then, I've always said I would never show my husband. It's just gonna be me, like Shadab Khan style, just like, you don't even know if I'm married. I'm just like against a wall and
it's me. It's all about me.
But yeah, the privilege of doing that, and the thing is I love sharing stories. I love hearing stories, and for me, I guess it's like I am inside don't believe I'm doing something harrowing or bad. And I realized at a very young age that if I'm, again, this is privilege, I understand, but like, if I'm lying to my parents, am I not admitting guilt? Because I'm buying into what I'm doing is wrong. Versus if I like pulled them in and said, I am doing this, you're gonna know about it. And I, you know, a lot of this dating and Bumble, and I've not done Tinder actually, but like dating Bumble and stuff, it's the reason that I'm so open about it is because, and sorry, this is about to take a little bit of a serious turn, but the fact that we cannot be so open and honest with our parents, like I couldn't when I was a teenager, when I was in college, I feel I was in very dangerous situations because I didn't have an adult to talk to. And who are the other people I knew? Other oppressed brown kids who like didn't know what was going on, didn't know what to talk about. And I felt the difference in people who could speak to their parents. Now, look, my parents met the day before their wedding. I'm not really sure how much advice they could give me, but I just hope that like the more people talk about it, even if you don't have a parent, because I understand, again, this is an extreme, you know, that isn't the norm from where we are from and stuff, but like if I'm online and I'm talking about this and I'm normalizing, I hate the word normalizing, but like I'm talking about it, maybe someone will feel comfortable talking to me or someone else, or maybe, and I'm not saying, oh my God, look at me, the martyr talking about these things. A lot of the times they're just fucking funny. Like they're jokes, they're laughy. They weren't a dangerous situation most of the time, so I can laugh about it. When they have been, I talk about how it was a serious situation. But this stuff should be talked about because the operating in silence, I feel, is how a lot of people get taken advantage of. It really sets especially young people, especially young girls and women up for dangerous situations. And like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it's just, I wish sense. I had one auntie I could have just been like, yo, is this normal? Without raising alarms. Like, cause my parents, you know, again, I'm very lucky. Like they'd be there for me on anything. Right. But of course, even they're learning, like they've changed a lot in the course of me and my sister's. Like I'm 33 years old. I'm about to be 34 soon. I'm single. So it's kind of like we've grown together because they also allowed themselves to understand and see like some things just aren't the end of the world. And like I'm never going to cross boundaries that would hurt them or hurt, you know, hopefully myself. I've hurt myself many times. I just ate gluten before I got here. So I'm allergic. You know, so I hope I answered your question, but I just, for me, it's
so that makes funny. Sense. And I've had this conversation with my family where I was like, you know, the whole topic of log kya kahenge. I was like, we're sitting here and if we're gossiping about someone, we're saying, oh, she showed up wearing this. I was like, how is it impacting her? Is what you're saying, and you think what she's wearing is so scandalous, how are you managing to make a dent in her life?
We're just wasting
so
our own
if anybody's
time.
talking about us, how is that doing us any damage?
But
why are we compromising our lives over this?
I'll tell you, like, so now it's a bit different, but growing up, this had a huge impact on me and my sister's life. And it was because my mom and my parents would hear how other people talk about other people's kids. And they're like, if they're talking about their kids like that, they're definitely talking about our kids like that. So there was so much policing of like, look, especially when it came to my family here, that, you know, oh, they heard this and they heard that. And like, eventually, thank God, my parents, I think my dad in high school, like said to some family member, like, if you call me about my kids again, I'm not blocking it. I don't care. He's like, I know what they're doing. I don't care. And by the way, high school, my mustache and my unibrow was not doing anything. Okay. And one of my relatives called me Chalak when I was 11. 11.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I had cystic acne. I had nothing going on at 11. Like, what are you talking about? And so I think my parents also just kind of got exhausted of it. And then moving to Pakistan, you know, at this age, rishte wali age, and my sister, I think at the time was like, I was what, 24, 25, she was 26, 27, ripe for the picking. And going through that process, was traumatizing for my parents because they were like, we're just parading our children in front of aunties and other people. The boy's never there. When he does show up, it's like, what is going on? And I think that also kind of like peeled away some of the like log yucking, because he's like, if these are the log, I don't really fucking care what they're saying.
I think
you know?
under society's pressure and all our relatives, I think my family must have done the Rishta scene once for me, years ago, and they were so traumatized by the whole experience of having me sit in front of people, and like they were just like, no, like this is never going to happen, and it never happened. I'm still
No, but what I'll say is, because it's interesting, right? Because we're not encouraged to date.
Yeah.
I want to make this clear. Until I turned 30, my parents weren't like, go date. Once I turned 30, they were like, get out of the house. But we're never supposed to be on display, right?
Yeah.
That's how we're raised.
Yeah.
And then suddenly there's this entire system which we are literally an ornament or a server or we're putting a service out there in this group setting. And I think parents, some of them, this is, it's like, oh, well, this is just how it's done. But I think for some of them, it's kind of like, what the are we participating in? Because my whole life, I've not wanted her to be this,
yes.
right? And it's very alarming. Especially, I remember like we had one lady who came and like saw our house and ran. Because they were like, probably much more wealthier than us, this and that, and was like horrified by our house. And I was so happy that it didn't like upset my family. If anything, we were cackling because we were like, you lucky bitch. Like, thank God you left. We were like, we wasted these patties, now we have to eat them. Now I'm eating dairy, that's on you. Like, I'm not supposed to eat dairy. I hate you, but like it's I think just living through those stories.
Yeah.
And then me and Sarah doing comedy and laughing and Twitter and just putting those jokes out there. Because to us, it started becoming funny. Like, even to my dad, last time I went and I visited, I was telling them I had like 1 week of Bumble dates here in Karachi before. I was like, I can't do this. Literally, I went to the same restaurant like every day. It's not at the same table and had the same dude working there. He was like, my parents sent me, I swear. I'm not just like running a
He should have been giving you ratings on like a napkin.
I was like, sit and join. Let's hear your thing. And when I told my dad about it, he couldn't help but laugh. There's a part of him, I'm sure, that didn't want to, but then started laughing because human experience is just funny. And like, it doesn't mean I broke some sacred woman oath that I wasn't supposed to break, but yeah.
This is so refreshing to hear.
Yeah.
Like the fact that your parents are now sort of accomplices to all of these situations.
You want to hear what's crazy?
Yeah.
My nanny, who once told me and my sister to go to finishing school because she was like, you uncouth rats. I told her, I have to go to, a couple years ago, I was like, I have to go to Lahore, my friend's getting married. When I got out of the car, she goes to my mom, she's like, that is like the 9th friend of hers to get married. Where are they meeting these people? And my mom was broken. She's had, and she's like, they're dating. And my nanny goes, so tell Sabah to date. And my mom was like, what? Like, fully could not process it. She literally sent me a text, and Nani does it. My Nani's gonna hate this. No one played this for her. You see one of my family members take this over. But my Nani then since then, like, I told her the same stories about the Bumble people, and she was so receptive to it because, again, I think just the fact that someone they trust is talking about it makes it a little easier to not find it horrifying. Yeah. The small waist and the big ass and the big
Kardashian
tits,
body.
Or even if I'm being honest, like the privilege of me, right? Like if you put me in a sari, you get this. I don't, and I'm being honest about it until now I've gained quite a bit of weight in the last year, but like I can't pretend like it wasn't a privilege to be able to buy off the rack, even though I was plus size. Like it just got turned into something which it isn't. And again, look, somebody questioned, what do you mean you don't feel good about yourself? You're supposed to be positive. And I was like, I'm a person.
Oh my God.
And I think people who, if you work out, if you don't work out, if you have a great relationship with your body, or if, it's important to you that your body is a part of you, I think that's great. Like, no knocking it, whatever works for you. But I think if hating yourself and your body, withholding yourself from enjoying life in your body, that's when I'm like, stop. Like, just let it be. And you don't even have to appreciate what it is for you. Maybe you think it's a bitch. You don't want to talk to it right now. That's fine.
Yeah.
But don't make it everything. Don't let it stop. I've let it stop me from so many things, and for what? Other night I almost skipped something because I have gained weight in the last year. I was like in a depressive spiral in which I was like binge eating. And I was like, I can't go. I cannot be seen. I don't want people to look at my body. I don't want people to see me. This is so fucking embarrassing. I literally was panicking in the car, sweating bullets, hair exploding from the humidity my own body was creating. And I got there and I had the best time. Not one person stopped and was like, hey, fatty, go home. It didn't happen. Why did I think that would happen? Like, it's not. And if someone had been a dick to me about it, I hope I could have been there. Oh, sorry. And if someone had been a dick about it, I hope that I had the strength to be like, ew, I don't want to be around someone like that, you know?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so
I told you I can talk.
You
have to cut me off.
I was like, do I have enough questions for Sabah? I don't need so many.
You give me the chance to talk, I'm gonna take it.
No, but I'm so glad. Okay, so Sabah, in the last year, you moved to Karachi. You started a new job. You're getting to sort of live independently, and on paper or like on Instagram, that is every Pakistani girl's dream, to sort of leave the house and live independently and live in like the big city Karachi. But at the same time, you've also been very vocal about going into this depressive spiral and gaining weight as a result of that, and just been very honest about that whole experience.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to be open about it and to sort of put it out there and share it with people? Because again, depression for so many people is such a like personal thing.
Yeah, it's a very isolating thing.
Yes,
And you no matter how much you read about it, you will always believe you are the one person feeling this way. And the thing is that the way you feel in depression, of course it's different. Like it might be completely different manifestation. Right. So there's a couple of reasons why I came forward with my truth. One of them is I had said, oh, happy 1 year anniversary on Twitter to me, but like, should I be honest about how Karachi's killing me? And I got a good response and like, I was like, okay, I'm going to be upfront about it. Because I think it doesn't really matter what people thought about it. It's not like I needed people to know my truth, but it's part of the thing, right? Like I'm a personality. I'm a person of the internet. People follow me. I update them on my life. I'm going to go eat a sandwich. You're going to know about it. So I decided to be upfront. And the second part of it was healing for myself. If I'm being honest, I am one of the a big motorcycle just drove through the podcast.
I will have my say.
Yeah, I'm like, he's like, shut up. We said 20-minute episode, bitch. You have been going on and on. But part of my thing is I feel like if I say something out loud and I acknowledge it and I put it out there, it kind of lifts some of it from me. Like, I mean, it's not a foolproof plan. Definitely, if you are having mental health issues, you should definitely see someone, get help, whatever, if you can. But I needed to say it out loud because part of it helped me to say it. And by the time I had come forth on my own platforms, I had been going through a journey. I mean, we can't get too into our WhatsApps, but like Hizra I spoke to many times over the last year and said like, something's just wrong. Like this, whether I put it bluntly, like I'm sure you were very supportive of me because I was like, I just don't feel good. Like something feels off. I don't feel good. And the thing is on social media, look, I was going to concerts. I was having a good time. Like I love the home I built, alhamdulillah, mashallah. Like I put a lot of work into it and I love it. And stuff.
Curated like this. I messaged you about it. This gorgeous like vintage.
Yes,
80s is vintage now.
Literally, but like in the pandemic, I had found the last 3 years, like not just, I'm pinning furniture. I was learning how they make it, how designers come about, like what, and I got so into it. And to be able to do that for myself with secondhand and, learning Karachi and learning how people put these together, it was amazing. And yet some days I would sit on that couch that I researched and I'd be like, I want to wake up. And I mean, sorry, trigger warning. It's not that I was like, I want to end. I just wanted some time to not be awake. Does that make sense? Like
that makes absolute sense.
Yeah, I needed more time and it just kept getting worse and worse. And when you're feeling that alone and you have had depression for many years, like I honestly on and off my whole life, it just happens. Whatever, let's blame the processed food or something.
Yes.
You can feel it happening. And sometimes that's not enough to be like, oh, I need to stop. Thing is, it starts happening, and this is a place that's quite comfortable. And actually, in many ways in the beginning, it feels good. So, okay, I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna spend my night doing things, whatever I'm doing, and I'm gonna eat a ton of food, and I'm gonna watch what I want, and I'm gonna turn my phone off, and I'm not gonna talk to my parents, and I'm not gonna pick up my friends' FaceTimes because I deserve to be by myself. In a lot of ways, this can be good. But when you're on 7 weeks of this, when no one's seen you, when people are wondering why you're not leaving the house and you don't have a good answer and you're breaking relationships, that was one of the other reasons. I was like, I have met incredible people in Karachi, especially just awesome women who support my work, who have known me from the internet, and they'd hit me up and I just couldn't do it. And there was one time my sister, many times I would kidnap Sarah from Pindi and I made her come stay with me. And one time we were invited to this birthday party. I got fully dressed, makeup. I think I look cute. Mm-hmm. I sat on the couch and I think for an hour, just like full spiral meltdown. I was like, I cannot go. And she was very gentle with me. And she was like, come on, dude. Like, you like these people. Like, you should come. Da, da, da. And I want to establish connection, but it was like the idea of being seen and speaking to people was so heavy. It almost felt like the couch was on top of me and I was laying under it. If that makes sense, like I couldn't get up.
No, it makes sense. And I'm so glad you're saying this because I think a lot of people go through it, but I don't think people know how to speak about it.
Yeah.
Because I think just to be able to articulate or to sort of understand the process you're going through and to be like, I am depressed.
Yeah.
I'm not tired.
Yeah.
I'm not like overwhelmed with work. I'm depressed.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is really helpful.
Oh, and it's like, luckily this person has become a friend of mine, the one whose birthday I missed, and they completely understood and it was one of the first times outside of my most built, comfortable, friends that I've grown up with or family that I said to a person, I didn't show up last night because the idea of leaving my house destroyed me.
Yeah.
And I hate that I did that and I wish I could have been there. And then in university, so this is a thing also about being a fat body literally on the internet, right? If I just make me to the base of what I am, people always got something to say. People always want to call you this, call you that. Like people don't understand that everyone is human and I have a diagnosed eating disorder. Now I don't talk about it much because there's just not, from my understanding, there's not a lot of support in Pakistan. So me talking about it and just kind of throwing that out there, I don't know what I'm really doing other than just announcing it because I can't direct you anywhere that I know of. But it got triggered in the last year. Yeah. And and it was bad. It has not been this bad since I was in college. And again, I'm a young 33. So it has been over 10 years, since I experienced this. And I didn't recognize it at first. At first I was just like, Karachi food is bomb. And I deserve this. And life is stressful. And, da-da-da. And then it just became oh, all my money's gone. And my body's in agony. And I don't want to speak, be seen, go anywhere. And I'm panicking about every meal and I can't think and your brain starts, and it's just crazy. So basically, very long answer was just, it felt horrible and I just wanted to say something and while I was on the come up of it and I want this year to be different and I want to feel better. That was the biggest thing. Inshallah. I just want to feel better and so maybe by saying that out loud, I'm putting a little ripple in that acha, we're going to walk towards this way.
I think you've done a service because if you remember we also made plans and then we mutually cancelled.
Yes.
Because I'll be honest, 2023 for me has been so sort of aggressively, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, because the last few months of 2022 I was also going through this phase where I was I'm just not happy.
Yeah.
I haven't achieved enough. I'm eating a lot and this again, every time I say this, I get really talked down to, and if I say, oh my God, I've gained a lot of weight, but I know that for myself, I know what is normal for me and what.
Yeah, you don't feel good.
Yeah, I was binge eating. There would be a certain part of the night that everyone would fall asleep, and I would come and I would just raid the fridge of leftovers and mash ki dal, which I don't really like. And I would finish it.
Yeah, and I want to just, if you don't have, binge, I hope that's not a huge majority, but you don't taste what you're eating.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
No, you don't.
It is purely a form of self-harm. Sorry, trigger warning. But maybe, but it is one of the strangest, most misunderstood forms of self-harm because people don't want to call it that. But I'm not eating to eat. I'm not having a good time. It doesn't taste good. I could not tell you what I ate.
But it numbs you at that moment.
Because you're in so much pain by the end of it that you're like, acha sakun, I'm good.
Yeah.
Now I'm good. Because like I did that.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, after like 5 minutes, many times I'd be like,
I hate
what
myself.
the fuck did you just do? Why did you just do that?
Oh my god.
You know, and then you're so angry at yourself. And I wrote this when I did my depression announcement, that you wake one day, the fog will clear a little, and you're gonna look around and be like, "Fuck, I got here again." And then you're mad at yourself. There's no one else you're mad at but you. That how the f- did we end up back here? You know?
Yeah.
So then you finish that binge, and you're so angry at yourself. And what is that gonna do? It's gonna fill that cycle again. In about 24, 48 hours, you'll be standing right there, and then you're mad at yourself again, and then just over and over. But this year's gonna be better.
Okay, tell me about your experience with stand-up. I mean, I know nothing pisses off people than a woman who's completely comfortable in her skin and is willing to overshare.
So stand-up changed my life. Literally changed my life. So I've always been if you can't tell, I'm a bit of a ham. I like to be center. Like I like commanding a room. I love making people laugh. One thing I can say I do with confidence, I'll make you laugh. And I love it. And if I can make someone crack up, yo, I've had the best day. It doesn't matter who it is. It could even be someone I hate. I'm like, hello, charity, one day. And then basically, so I'm with Orknock, which is like a feminist comedy collective of sorts, and they opened up a chapter in Islamabad. Never in my life would I have thought of stand-up. They called me, shout out Nirvana, called me and was like, yo, I've been going to some parties and people say you're funny. So would you like to join? Me terrified. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, and the whole time before I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this. This has nothing to do with me. I don't have the skill set, Immediately, like, no. And it just broke my heart open in the most incredible way where I was like, yo, this is amazing. I'm having so much fun. It brought me so much confidence. And it made everything else kind of make sense. And yeah, we did it in 3-4 seasons now of Islamabad Orknock. Like we were really at it before COVID. And my first season, I talked about my, dating, my body, whatever. But the crux of it was a story of a guy who had asked me for my number at this party. And I said no, because the vibe just wasn't right. Very good looking dude, whatever. But the vibe wasn't there. And like, it was early, Let's see how I felt after 3 hours with no one else.
You weren't there yet.
And then he goes, oh, okay. He's like, by the way, you look good, but you could look better. And it turned out he was like a fitness trainer. And so he like body shamed me. And I was like, you bitch. And then it went for like weeks. Any party I'd see him at, he had something to say. And then finally one night when I just didn't acknowledge this person, because I was like, what is his problem, right? Like, I'm sorry I didn't want your number, I guess, but I'm not sorry. And then he comes up to me at a party and goes, hey, fat lady.
Oh my God.
And I lost it, right? Like, I was like, you fucking weirdo. Like, and I like blasted him. I was like, I don't want to talk to you. Why are you speaking to me? Like, what? And it was just, that was my story for that first season, right? So like I openly said I was like, I have a blue passport. I thought I'd land some husband. Well, actually I have to start performing stand-up in Karachi, so I shouldn't be saying too much of this too soon. I'm gonna reuse my content. But it was just amazing. But yeah, of course you have people who are like, oh, you suck, women aren't funny, this and that. For the most part, it's been like really supportive, but it's also niche, right? Like know it's feminist comedy, it's women talking about things. I don't put really much online of my actual stand-up because I don't know how safe it is, to be honest. Yeah. But I'm not so X-rated. Like, I don't live an X-rated life, Mom. I live a PG-13 life, so I can say like a lot of my stories. So my mom, as I said earlier, has come to every show. I did a show in Lahore where she couldn't come, so that was the only time that she hasn't seen me perform. Obviously, my dad wasn't there because he was like, I did my one, and now I am done. And so when we were in the audience, I was like, guys, like, this is the first time my parents aren't here, so I can finally talk about sex. And they were like, ooh, and so then it got really quiet, and I went, okay, so what is it? Like, and then that was like the kind of that, like, so my comedy in that sense is like that. So I was like, and my parents like, great one. I was like, thanks. They don't even have accent, I'm just racist.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but it's been great. And actually from stand-up is how I got the radio. Because like 2 of my good friends in the crowd, shout out to them, I always do on the radio, and they were like one of them worked for Dawn, and one of them was very good friends with the producer, my producer over at Dawn, and was, oh, sorry, I just squeezed my mic. And they were like, you gotta get her. And that kind of was my audition, was that Lahore show.
That's amazing.
And then I went in and I did a real audition, and yeah, now over 4 years later, yeah. So radio changed my life, really. And then I like tweeting jokes. That's always been fun.
Also, I really love the stories you put up while you're doing the shows, like the different filters and singing and lip-syncing.
Yeah. That's my hot girl shit.
That's my favorite
It's
part.
very hurtful. The thirst traps and all that thirsting, minimal engagement. Me being funny, they're like, yes, clown. And I'm like, support my hoe photos, okay? I put a lot of work into that pose. And they're like, no. You be funny, you be quiet. I'm like, that's the only two. No, but it's okay. I love you. Please don't unfollow me. It's my only currency. I'm kidding. But yeah.
Okay, Sabah, thank you so much
Aw.
for coming here and making me laugh. And I've been watching you Google-eyed this whole time because I've had so much fun.
I'm glad I made you laugh. I got real dark.
No, I have this habit of interrupting people and rambling on, and this whole time I was just like, wow, I don't need to interrupt at all.
Well, if one thing I'm gonna do, it is ramble. I can go on and on. I just love talking.
Okay, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having
I'm
me.
so happy you were on the show. Thank you so much for joining into Sister Please with me, Khizra Munir, and my amazing guest, Sabah Bano Malik. We'll be back next week with another very awesome woman.
Bye.
Bye.
Woo!
That was awesome.